So, the Epirus Kingdom, the birthplace of King Epirus, who invaded Rome itself during its earlier years and warred on the Greek peninsula against Macedon, Sparta, Athens, what have you, before eventually being slain by a brick being thrown from a window and slicing off his head. Rather tragic end, but also the man where the term Pyrrhic victory comes from. When he says, after fighting the Romans, one more victory like this and we will be undone due to the immense amount of casualties he had taken. Now, in Rome 2, Epirus is a versatile faction that plays a very much a support role. It lacks a lot of frontline infantry. It does have a lot of javelins. Its spears are subpar. It lacks swords for the most part. Its skirmishers are quite good, very, very good. Its cavalry are very, very good, and as you can see in the back there, they have elephants. They do field pikemen, though in Rome 2, pikes are, unless outside a campaign, I'm not quite sure how useful pikes are, especially in sieges. But we shall see what they have in the open plain. Okay, so Epirus has quite a large roster, as you can see. Some of these we've seen before, some of them not so much. So much hoplites. As Epirus, you won't be bringing a lot of these, even though they're qualities of good armor and good survivability. You'll typically be taking Illyrian levies and Italian swords, your low tiers. It's rare you see much hoplites as Epirus. You might think, well, it's good for pushing up taunts due to that high survivability. They can hold stuff the hoplite wall, but they're more expensive than an Illyrian levy, which already has 45 armor for 30 less. And it comes with javelins, so that's more killing power than militia hoplite. So it's rare you'll see them, though taking one or turn defense isn't bad to hold a point and get your javelins off, as that is a big part of how you play Epirus. So not much to be said about these guys, but you know, for Epirus, not so much. For other factions, they have their part. Instead, you'll be taking them in levies. They have less survivability, but still adequate. They have javelins, AP, decent morale. The rest of their stats are awful, but they only got 70, so what do you expect from them? They're very, very, very good. For the price, due to that survivability, AP and javelins, you're going to be seeing a lot of these guys on defense and attack because there's multiple ways you can play Epirus. If someone's doing an elite spam with Royal Peltasts, you're going to be seeing probably about 5 of these guys, just to push up taunts and take some javelins with the squishy Royal Peltasts. Overall, I'd recommend taking these guys a lot. The Mercantilian spears are almost not worth my time because you're never going to bring them. Whilst having a lot of armor, for 340, they're not good. They're not. Like, they're not going to do anything unless Cav walks into them, but that's never going to happen, so they're not going to do anything. Their stats are abysmal, except for the armor. Maybe the melee defense and morale, but who cares? Like, they're the same melee defense as the Levy Freeman, let's put it that way. And when it comes to the Mercantilian swordsman, you'll be seeing a lot of these guys. Epirus has a lot of mercenaries. These are capped at 4, same as... No, 3 actually. The Mercantilian spears are capped at 4. Very survivable sword, low tier. Very expensive low tier because they're 400. But you'll be seeing quite a few of these guys in different comps, just for survivable low tier that can kill. Like, it's like a defensive Celtic warrior is how I'd say. It's a defensive Celtic warrior. It has good stats all around, except for that charge bonus, quite low. Their melee defense to an extent is as well. But you'll be seeing quite a few of them. I didn't like them until I did. Like, and you gotta use them. They're an acquired taste. Whereas spears covered before in Bactria, Epirus can bring 8 of these if they just want to go javelins. Like, 8 of them just to be like absolutely annoying javies and just filling a target full of pointy sticks. They have okay stats of 560. They have square. You will be using them a lot, like I say. I'd always recommend bringing them as Epirus. You're just going to be trying to get that sword side using whatever means available to you, and you can cycle charge them when they're done. So 5 laser javelins, 29 damage, 9 armor piercing. Just be careful when you put them to square. They're more vulnerable to missiles. Regular hoplites, Yeah, I'm just gonna skip over these guys. Just don't bring them. There's no point. Just don't bring regular hoplites Epirus. You have a better option. Merc Samnites haven't covered these guys before. I don't believe. Unless I'm tripping. I don't believe I've covered them before. Really good stats. 95 armor, 60 of which is base, and 65 health. That's elite level survivability. Lower attack scores, good charge bonus. Okay morale. You are going to be using these guys a lot. They're capped at 3. They're your mainline infantry, which is very bad. You got 3 med tiers. Well, that's survivable. They will kill a lot, but they do get outclassed by stuff like Galatian Legionnaires, Sword Followers. They're still very, very good. You always bring them as Epirus. There's no comp where you don't bring at least 2. So, always bring the Samnites. Amazing stats. They will treat you just fine. The only thing they're missing is Shield Wall, but even then, you've got Cav to deal with enemy Cav. The better hoplite is the Etruscan. I've used them. They're capped at 3. They don't have the elite spear, but if you're trying to tank javelins, if you're trying to have as many mids as possible, you can bring the Etruscans. It's just rare. They do 65 health and 85 armor. Their morale's good. The charge is okay. You can bring them, though it's a rarity. I can't tell you when you'd bring them, really. Maybe against Pergamon. Maybe. Don't quote me on it. But you can bring them. You gotta experiment with them just to figure out when to use them, though. All pike infantry, don't bring for Epirus. You can bring like 1 or 2 pikes against like Sparta maybe. But that's it. Never get the Hellenic Royal Guard. Levy pikemen you can bring, but they're so squishy they'll drop off to the first volley. To Sonal, don't bring Hellenic Royal Guard. Elite pikes are never worth it. Levy pikes, bit too squishy. Pikemen are just right. But very rarely bring them. Don't bring them. Just don't. Unless you're in a very specific situation with the opponent doesn't have a lot of ammunition for some reason. Royal Peltists, extremely damaging. Look at that melee attack, 62. Low melee defense, low charge, okay armor, lower health, and 70 morale for 1,280. 3 volleys of javelins, not 2, and it's targetable. They come with Use the Whip, which is a worse headhunt and shield wall, though they aren't brilliant against Cav, just that lower mass. They're a good unit, though I do recommend, actually, that's a lie. I do recommend them. Though, obviously, if you elite spam them, it can work. Because these guys are amazing in melee, absolutely amazing. But if you're facing Parthia, bring like, sorry about that, bring like 1 maximum, that's it. Gotta focus Cav against like factions like Parthia, but they're still very, very good. One of the best Hellenic elites, but that is very opinionated. But yeah, overall, a good unit. Epirus infantry is very much about its javelins, bringing the Samnites. Okay, these 3 we'll gloss over. I see them all the time. All your standard Epirus have access to standard skirmishers, none of which are viable for Epirus really, except maybe like 1 archer due to its abundance of better options. It has 2 more Peltist options, the Agrion Axeman Peltist. Bring the Agrion Axeman for 500 over the 420 Peltist. As of course you lose some survivability, though you gain mass, AP, and better melee stats for the same damage at range. Excellent unit. A lot of times you'll be seeing... Why are they bloodied up? They haven't been in combat. You'll see a lot of comps if you do the +1 rule with 3 Cretans, 2 Agrionians, even if it's not +1 rule. Bring an Agrionian. Though, you could bring a Rhodian as well. Though, Agrions are really, really, really good. Always bring them. Well, most of the time bring them, unless it depends on your rule set. If it's 1, 2, 4, +1, bring them. If it's not, probably better if it's going for the Rhodian. Speaking of Rhodians, the Cretans, high damage, to an extent survivable missiles. They're core to Epirus and how they play. The shields on the back of the Cretans don't actually give them a block chance or anything. It's just for looks. Always bring 3 Cretans, though you can go 2 and 2. Depends really what you're facing and the map you're on. If you're in Athens, you might want to go for an extra slinger due to its openness. But these guys, if you lose the skirmish fight as Epirus, you're in for a tough day because the Phareos will kill everything. And you need skirmishers to do part of their job. Or your ally has to really clutch it up. So, yeah, as Epirus, make sure your skirmishers do their job. Melee cavalry, ignore that unit. Mercatalians. Okay, sorry about that. They're survivable melee cav, they're good for chasing heavy ones down, and they won't win engagements on their own. For 600, you're capped at 3 once more. I don't like them, I wouldn't recommend bringing them. Though I have seen people use them. But don't expect them to win melee fights on their own, unless it's against something like that abysmal unit right there. You can use them, though I don't recommend them. They're not a complete stay away, but not something I'd recommend. Aspis Companion, you can bring them if you like. These guys do very well against something from Saba, like a lot of camels. They have javelins. They have it's like a royal peltist on horseback. Is how you look at them. A royal peltist on horseback. Just look at those stats. I'll give you 5 seconds. Just look at them. It's brilliant. Excellent survivability. Good charge bonus. No bonus for large, though. You know they're still excellent. They're just amazing. Look at those stats. Like 68 attack. Where are you gonna find higher? Nowhere. And they've just got excellent survivability and morale. They are so good. You'll do the elephants. I don't... If you're against a faction that has no shield wall, like, Saba, elephants can really work here. 1500. The only Hellenic faction in Greece with elephants. I'd use them. If the opponent has no shield or poor missiles, that's when you use the elephant, and I've used them before. It can work, though as with all elephants, you gotta send them at the right time, and they're very risky. Just remember that. The Tarantine, the Skirmisher Cavalry. I wouldn't bring either of these Epirus. Nothing's wrong with the Tarantine. Skirmisher, there's something wrong with it. Just look at that abysmal damage. Nothing wrong with the Tarantine. It's a solid unit, but for the Epirus roster, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Don't bring the Tarantine. You've got better options with anti-cav, like your actual cavalry. Miscellaneous dogs, don't even bring them. Just don't. They're not going to do anything except kill, like, Scythian horse archers, and how many times are you going to be facing them? Like, none, because it's a sieges, not land battles. So don't bring them. They're a waste of 550 funds. 2 shock cavalry, Thessalian, one of the most cost-effective shock cav. They can beat camels as long as they don't hit trample. 740, excellent, though they are rather squishy due to the low armor. Be aware. Hellenic Royals, one of the different kinds of Hellenic elite cavalry. They're just one of the best. I believe second only to like the Companion or a Gamer Cav. 1270, it's very solid. They're a gen option, like the Royal Pelter, still the Hellenic Royal Guard, but you never bring the Hellenic Royal Guard because they're the elite pikemen. Don't. Yeah, 76 charge bonus, 100 health, 70 armor, 60 armor, 70 morale, sorry. Yeah, always bring the Hellenic Royal Cavalry if you can be sallied on. They Hellenic Royal and 2 Thessalians. You should be fine against most sallies. You really should be fine. Epirus as a whole is a support faction. You've got to rely on your skirmishers to do a lot of damage because your infantry, there just isn't enough of it. You got 3 really good mid-tiers, but the rest of it, where's it coming from? Most likely going to be Piraeus. Once they're out of Javies, they're not going to stand up well to other units in melee. Be aware. If your skirmishers die, you're in for trouble, but their cavalry is very good if you do bring some. But Epirus is one of the factions you need to use being supported by a good infantry faction. Epirus Arverni is a very strong combo, as you got the good archers and the good infantry. You got the good cavalry, but yeah. Don't take the pikes. Sorry. Don't take the pikes no matter what. Bring the Samnites. The Italians are pretty good. They're low tiers, so you got a selection. Skirmishers need to get value. Cavalry is a very good, strong option if you need to bring it. Next time, oh, I don't know which round it is next time. Because I've run out of, like, consecutive letters. Yeah. I'll put in the description what's next. But until then, see ya.